outside today. Well, at least for this intro. You've seen lately in the last few weeks, if not few months, Hat Club and Sports World do their own kind of baseball crossover collection series for, I know Hat Club did for an NBA, MLB crossover collection, and Sports World did a kind of smaller run of NHL MLB crossover hats. So, got me thinking, I should do my own. I'm going to do my own NHL MLB crossover collection series of hats. So this is going to be a little bit of a mini series. I go through a lot of teams. I go through probably about maybe 30 different hats. So it's gonna be a lot of hats. So it's gonna be either in 3, if not 4 parts. But stick around for all of my NHL MLB Classic Series crossover hats. So get out a notebook, pen, or pencil. Get out a hockey stick and hockey puck, as they would say on the streets. Game on! Oh, sorry. Intro. Rest of the video here, I'm going to be behind the camera and actually off camera. So with this NHL MLB crossover, I'm not going to use any MLB side patches. Instead, I'm going to use Winter Classic and Stadium Series logos as the side patch for each of the hats that you will see. So it's got a different take. It's going to be really fun. So I hope you enjoy my attempt at a hat collection, and these hats will actually be available through the Hattar Bookstore sometime in 2000 something ish. Enjoy. In 2008, the first ever Winter Classic to be held, the Buffalo Sabres hosted the Pittsburgh Penguins at Ralph Wilson Stadium, where the Buffalo Bills play. In recent years, the stadium was named to New Era Stadium due to this company called New Era from Derby, New York, that makes these kind of cool hats. Big sponsor for the stadium. So I figured Buffalo doesn't have a baseball team, and I didn't really want to take from Toronto. So instead I used a very iconic hat that New Era makes that's within the state of New York, actually. New York Yankees. That's just an idea that I had. And it's basically New York Yankees. The crown is kind of blue, and the logo is yellow. Now, the Sabres is kind of interesting because they kind of flip-flop between different blues. It's either a kind of royal blue, like this. It's a little bit brighter than like a Cubbies or Mets or Kansas City Royals blue. It's between that royal blue and navy, or it's between a bright yellow or a gold. Depending on, what decade, what rebuilding phase that they're in this time, with Jack Eichel wasting his time in Buffalo, or Taylor Hall or whoever, the colors are kind of inconsistent, to be honest. So just went with this. The side patch is the Winter Classic logo. It wasn't a spectacular Winter Classic logo in terms of like characteristics, but it was good. It was simple, but classic. And I'm not going to do this for every winter classic, just a few that stand out to me really. The Pittsburgh Pirates hat here is based off the jersey colors that the Pittsburgh Penguins wore. They wore like a baby blue, kind of a Columbia blue, like the picture's up on the screen, and a little bit of touch of navy in there, and of course yellowing. Pittsburgh, the city of Pittsburgh, is, as far as I know, the only city to have at least 2 or more teams that have the same color for all the teams in the city. If you think about it, Steelers, Pirates, Penguins, all black and yellow, or gold of some variation. So it was good that this jersey was around that they wore for the light blue, because it really stands out, and I was able to get that kind of yellow accent around the navy P. So I thought it was really good looking. In 2009, historic Wrigley Field hosted the Winter Classic of host Chicago Blackhawks and visiting Original Six fierce rival Detroit Red Wings in front of 40,000 fans. I remember watching that game, and Blackhawks lost. It sucked, but that was the year before we had a huge dynasty, the Blackhawks. The 2010s were ours. Well, at least the first half. The jerseys looked great for both teams, especially with the Blackhawks. A little biased, but even objectively, the home team has the better jerseys usually. So I have 2 hats here for the Cubs. This red with the black C for the Cubs. The logo that's used for the Winter Classic is really cool. So I have that at the side patch, and of course the black and red, Blackhawk colors. But for the actual game, they had black jerseys. And what I put for the black hat, the C is multicolor, because in the Blackhawk logo, the chief has feathers in the back of his head, in his hair. I am still to yet figure out what those colors mean, if they do have any meaning, but I tried to incorporate some of the main colors into the C. Part of the C is yellow, some of it's green, and a little corner is red. So try to do a little bit different coloring with the C, not just be like, oh, you inverted the colors. How boring. So this is kind of cool, but trust me, they'll get cooler. And this concept of different colors within the logo for a Chicago team, for the Blackhawks, will come again later on. Boston Bruins hosted the Philadelphia Flyers in the 2010 Winter Classic in historic Fenway Park. Boston Bruins are an Original Six team. If you're unfamiliar with hockey history, the Original Six teams founded the NHL: Toronto Maple Leafs, Montreal Canadiens, Boston Bruins, New York Rangers, Detroit Red Wings, and the Chicago Blackhawks. Have been all around since the 1910s, if not 1920s. Bruins, simple colors of black and yellow. The black one looks like a pirate hat, kind of, if you kind of reimagine it. But these were the colors. They wore yellow jerseys for the game. Didn't really have the extra creativity to go any further. I felt like two-tone hat it just wouldn't fit the Boston style. Not only for the Bruins, but for the Red Sox themselves. I really can't remember the last time I saw an on-field two-tone Red Sox hat. Last time I saw that was for a batting practice or a spring training hat. So, kind of black and yellow, simple, but there will be a nicer looking Boston Bruins hat in the next video, so stick around for that one. 2011, the Pittsburgh Penguins would have another chance to play in a Winter Classic, but this time they would host at Heinz Field in Pittsburgh to the Washington Capitals. Yet again, the Penguins went with a non-black and yellow gold jersey, so I figure I would honor that with their navy-looking jerseys, a nice flip from their icy blue, sky baby blue jerseys from the '08 Winter Classic, which, by the way, that game went into a shootout. That was a great game. I remember that game. Pittsburgh Pirates hat is kind of a inversion of the first hat you saw. It's a navy crown and brim. The P is that baby icy blue sky color, white outline, and I put in as a yellow button to incorporate some sort of yellow into the hat. I didn't really want to necessarily repeat like what the '08 hat looked like, the Winter Classic from 2008, but wanted to still incorporate some yellow in some capacity. The logos for the Winter Classic for this is fantastic. The Pittsburgh Bridge along the Allegheny River, very iconic. I'm sure that's an inspiration for the colors for the teams in the city. 2012, the New York Rangers visit Citizens Bank Park in Philadelphia, where the Broad Street Bullies, otherwise known as the Philadelphia Flyers, host the 2012 Winter Classic. For this one, I went back to the drawing board. When I first made the hats, I used the current Phillies hat, but then I thought, the Winter Classic, it's supposed to harken back to origins of hockey, playing outside, thinking old school, thinking back, and a lot of these jerseys are throwbacks. So I figured, for this one, it made good sense to use the older Phillies hat with the cursive P that they used in the late 70s into the 80s, maybe the 90s. But there's two, both of them are two-toned. One of them has a rustic kind of orange look, kind of like a gritty, not the mascot, but a gritty like 70s kind of color that would really represent the Broad Street Bullies pretty good, and a black logo, black button, and brim. Where the other one is a little bit more updated, black crown, and that orange is more of the gritty mascot that you see nowadays. Kind of a scary dude. But that orange is a little bit more eye-popping, a little bit more highlighter. So, I don't know, what would you say? Comment down below, would you pick either one, or would you take both? The old school or the new school Flyers, Phillies look? If you're a scholarly hockey fan like myself, you know your hockey history. The 2012-2013 season started in a lockout between the players and the owners. Therefore, the 2013 Winter Classic was canceled between the Maple Leafs and the hosting Red Wings. So in 2014, the Detroit Red Wings hosted the Maple Leafs at the Big House in Ann Arbor, University of Michigan Stadium, where they had a record-breaking 105,491 fans in attendance, largest hockey game ever. Different circumstances than a standard conventional arena, but still pretty cool. So the Red Wings, of course, have their baseball team as the Tigers. Just did a simple red and white. The Red Wings logo is so good. One of these days I'll get their hat. They are a very bitter rival to the Blackhawks, but they are an original six team. It's a good logo, great colors. Not much I really want to do in terms of going outside my creativity zone and not messing with the history and basic colors of the Red Wings. So there's a red crown or red hat with the white D English logo, and then a black is supposed to be, well, I guess, charcoal and a red D lettering. Don't know if a white hat would be so good looking, to be honest, but try to be a little different. There, that's my outside the box thinking for the Red Wings. In 2014, the NHL had already seen the success of Winter Classics, and they wanted to expand to more outdoor games. Thusly, in 2014, the Stadium Series in Los Angeles, New York, and Chicago were formed, and the first game of the Stadium Series was in Los Angeles at Dodger Stadium between the Anaheim Ducks and Los Angeles Kings. For the Kings, I'm going to go with the Dodgers, and their first two colors here pretty simple. I mean, the Kings colors are black and white. Not too exciting, really, to be honest. And could I have gone with the old Kings colors of purple and yellow? Yes, but we've kind of seen that a little bit too much recently with the Dodgers and Lakers hats, because both teams have won the championships for their leagues in recent years. So I didn't want to do that completely, but I did do a gray with purple tones of a purple LA logo. So that's what I did for the Dodgers. The Ducks, I did oranges, pretty simple with an all orange, and then an orange with a two-tone black brim. And then I got retro and went crazy with Anaheim Duck colors, just flipping the colors of the teal and the purple, and they came out pretty well. They're pretty well, actually. Very good. I like it. Turned out really, really well, especially with the details I had to put in for all the individual nooks and crannies. I thought it turned out very well. This would be a really cool colorway, but this is where the logos start to get pretty bland, to be honest. Because if you see in the top corner, on the top section of the screen, since the Stadium Series was for 3 locations, they couldn't do a specified kind of looking logo like you see in the past, where like you had the Wrigley marquee sign out in the front, or the bell for the Liberty Bell for Philadelphia. So they couldn't really do anything specific, just generic looking. So For Yankee Stadium, they hosted not 1 but 2 Stadium Series outdoor games between the 3 teams in the area of New York Rangers, New York Islanders, and the New Jersey Devils. So I said, let's put all 3 team colors onto a Yankees hat. First one, we'll go with the outside New Jersey Devils. Could have gone with their standard black and red, but actually for this game, the Stadium Series game, they played with their Christmas kind of color looking 90s green and red jerseys. So I did a green and red Yankees hat. The outlines of the Yankee logo didn't turn out so well with the Photoshop lasso, but just imagine that it's a green hat with a red Yankee logo. Next major team is an original 6 team, the New York Rangers, red and blue. So it's a red and blue Yankee hat. I'm sure that's been done before. But let's look at the New York Islander colors on the Yankees hat, shall we? Oh yeah, that looks a little familiar, those color patterns, huh? Would you look at that then? I don't know why you're saying New York Mets. Those are New York Islander colors. Now I will not be doing a hat for the Chicago Stadium Series because the Chicago Bears Soldier Field hosted that game between the Blackhawks and the Penguins, and it just didn't seem to fit because it's a NHL MLB crossover, not NHL NFL crossover. So that's why I'm omitting that game. That's going to wrap up part 1, or at least the first section, 2008 to 2014. The next section is supposed to be 2015 through 2021, and I've pretty much made the video already. Just got to do a few tweakings here and there. It's long, so I think I'm going to do it in 2 parts. So stick around for part 2, A and B. So, trust me, there'll be more hats. See you then.